Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm going to present about hybrid culture and intercultural competence in Indonesian EFL textbooks, policies, and pedagogical implications. Now, let's have a look about this topic. The first part I want to share with you today is the term hybrid, which means combining two different things based on Cambridge Dictionary. And the term hybrid culture refers to the coexistence, harmony, and synchronization of oral culture, written culture, printed culture, mass culture, media culture, and cyber culture, mixing all of them in webs of meaning produced by individuals. This is based on the website from IGI Global 2021. And in this study, the researcher uses the term hybrid culture as the main issue in the context of EFL learning through textbook writing. Now let's take a look at the background. So according to Hermawan, culture is often about wisdoms and worldview of the country, and textbooks can be a good source for students to learn and adopt these wisdoms and worldview and to develop their cultural awareness and identity. And also in Indonesian context, on one hand, the culture represented in most English textbooks is either local or target culture, be it American or simply the West culture. On the other hand, there is no clear cut between the Eastern and the Western culture, as the two cultures have blended in such a way that it is difficult to distinguish them. Now here comes the objective of the study. This study has some objectives as follows. First is to analyze whether hybrid culture exists in EFL local textbooks in Indonesia, and to discuss the pedagogical impact of hybrid culture in EFL learning, as well as to find out the suitable policies in EFL textbook writing in Indonesian context. What about the significance of the study? We know that this issue is going to be very important in terms of the EFL learning and EFL textbook writing policy. So the researcher feels that we have to do this as one of the researchers' main objective is to find out whether the EFL textbook writing in Indonesia is suitable for this purpose of the research. Now, the research questions, there are three research questions here. Number one is, to what extent is the hybrid culture presented in local EFL textbooks in Indonesia? And how does the concept of hybrid culture affect the intercultural competence of high school students in Indonesia? And last but not least is, how does the concept of hybrid culture affect the policies of EFL textbook writing in Indonesia? And this is the theoretical framework. Okay. Now here comes the term intercultural competence. Intercultural competence is the ability to function effectively across cultures, to think and act appropriately, and to communicate and work with people from different cultural backgrounds. In this case, at home or abroad and everywhere else. Intercultural competence is a valuable asset in an increasingly globalized world where we are more likely to interact with people from different cultures and countries who have been shaped by different values, beliefs, and experiences. In general, intercultural competence is part of a family of concepts, including global competence, graduate attributes, employability skills, global citizenship, education for sustainable development, and global employability. Core to all these concepts is recognition of globalization as a force for change in all aspects of the contemporary world, and the importance for graduates to be able to engage and act globally. Now, the research methodology for this research was using the content analysis design, and then also we used the cultural content evaluation by Byram and Morgan 1994, and also Kilikaya 2004. Where they proposed a qualitative evaluation checklist with a list of criteria for examining the extent and methods of how culture is presented. And there are 9 categories from the checklist, namely social identity and social groups, social interaction, belief and behavior, socio-political institutions, socialization and the life cycle, national history, national geography, national cultural heritage, stereotypes, and national identity. Data resources were taken from 3 local EFL textbooks used in Indonesian senior high schools. They are Contextual English, Pathway to English, and Bahasa Inggris, published by 3 different publishers in Indonesia. Data collection technique, so based on the guidance by Byram and Morgan's evaluation checklist with a list of 9 criteria, the researcher investigated the cultural categories in the local EFL textbooks used in senior high school in Indonesia. Then the researcher analyzed whether hybrid culture exists in the textbooks. And then the researcher did the analysis from the textbooks using the checklists proposed by Byram and Morgan. Also tried to analyze whether the textbooks contain hybrid culture or not. And here are the findings and results. Interestingly, from all 3 textbooks being analyzed, and most texts and as well as pictures, they do not really contain hybrid culture, as mentioned earlier. What the researcher found there was mostly about local and target cultures, but not the hybrid culture. In this case, the textbooks do not really prioritize to the hybrid culture in the sense that they only focus on either local and target culture. And how about the 9 categories for the culture proposed by Byram and Morgan? The good news is that most textbooks being analyzed, they have all the 9 categories, the cultural categories, although some of them perhaps lack here and there, and also some textbooks do not really contain several categories in this case. So what are the conclusions for this? In the 3 local EFL textbooks being analyzed, there were only few texts and pictures containing the hybrid culture, and the majority were concerning either local or target cultures only. And this means that there must be a significant change in the EFL textbook writing policy in the future. And regarding the cultural categories, the 3 local EFL textbooks have almost all 9 categories of culture, according to Byram and Morgan. And of course, it has a tremendous effect in the pedagogical aspect of EFL learning. And last but not least, the students need to have not only cultural awareness, but also intercultural competence, which they need to survive in their future job and career. And one of the important aspects of intercultural competence is the concept of hybrid culture. And with that, the researcher concludes that there has to be a significant change in the policy of textbook writing, as well as EFL pedagogical learning in the classroom. Thank you.